Good morning, friends. It's Miss Tracy, and I'm here with your Sunday morning Bible lesson. So, as a family, we are reading through the Bible this school year, and we started not too long ago, so it's not too late. If you haven't already started, you know what? You can still start. If you need to get a copy of the Jesus Storybook Bible, that's the one that we're reading through, just get a hold of me and I can make sure that you get that. So the Jesus Storybook Bible is great because it points us to Jesus, who is really the hero of the Bible. Well, today's story it's a really long one for this week. And you only have to read one story a week. So as parents, you could break this story up into a couple of nights, or you could read it all in one night and then discuss it another night. So I hope that you guys are here today, because when you come to church for kids worship, we discuss the same lesson. So we go over the same lesson that you're learning this week. So this lesson comes from Exodus 16 through 17 and 19 through 40. So this is 10 ways to be perfect. Well, you probably guess already, if you know anything at all about the Bible, that we're talking about the 10 commandments. And you might look at those things as 10 rules, 10 ways to live. Well, really, they're important. These are important things that we have to learn. But before we even get there, we learn about Moses, okay, and the Israelites. Well, we've learned how God has rescued them, and he split apart the sea. We learned that last week, and the Israelites walked through on the dry ground, and so they were saved. And can you imagine? They were still cranky. They didn't trust in God even after that. They forgot. They forgot about what God was doing for them. And you know what? I think sometimes we forget that too. Sometimes we have a miraculous thing that happens in our life and we're like, wow, only God could do that. And we're so thankful and we thank Him for it, but then certain things happen in our lives and we're like the Israelites. They were hungry and they were thirsty, and so they got really cranky, and they started cranking at Moses and Aaron, who were leading them, and they were like, oh, why did you lead us this way? Why did you lead us away? At least we could have, had food to eat if we were slaves, and you should have just left us there to die. Well, they were very dramatic and they were very cranky, and it was not very good. So we learn that Moses and Aaron, they heard what the people were saying, and they said, you know what, let's talk to God about it. And God gave them food from the sky and from the ground. It just like automatically appeared every day. They had food, enough to eat. And then wasn't enough. They got cranky again because they're thirsty. Oh, why did you bring us here? We're so thirsty. And so another miracle. God said, take your staff, Moses, and hit this rock, and water shoots up out of the rock, and they all have water. Well, God is teaching them a lesson, if you didn't already figure that out. Because God is sending them around in the desert, and they're just like walking around when where they're going, the promised land, is not that far away. It's pretty close. But instead, they're wandering around the desert. Well, they're doing that because God's teaching them a lesson. He's teaching them to trust in Him. And then they're still cranky and they're back to their old ways of doing things bad. And so what happens? But God calls upon Moses and wants to talk to him. So Moses climbs a big giant mountain. He climbs the mountain and he goes and talks to God. Well, while he's there, boy, those people, they're just still doing bad stuff. But Moses comes down from the mountain and he says, look, God's gave us some rules. And so he gave them some rules and things that they need to do. And he brought them down. Here's a picture. You see the picture? So Moses brings the rules down on a tablet and they're wrote out for him. And, do you think that they could abide by those rules and listen to them and do what was right? No. As much as they tried, they still messed up. Because you know what? We all sin and we all mess up, all right? It says in the Bible, Romans 3:23 says, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So we all do that. And it says right here, so you're wondering, how does this point us to Jesus? So right here, I'm going to show you where it does. So let's see. All right. So he said, you need to keep these promises, to do these, do what's right, do what's written in these laws. And they said, we promise, but they were wrong. They couldn't do it. No matter how hard they tried, they could never keep God's rules all the time. God knew they couldn't, and he wanted them to. He wanted them to know it too. Only one person could keep all the rules. And many years later, God would send him to stand in their place and be perfect for them, because the rules couldn't save them. Only God could save them. And who do you think that person is that they're talking about? That's Jesus, okay? So I hope that you get to read that whole story in this Jesus Storybook Bible this week. You don't want to miss all those little details that I skipped over. And I hope that you join me here on Sundays. We have a great time. And if you look back on one of my other videos, you can see one of the games we play, which is head, shoulders, knees, and noodles. It's a lot of fun. And we sing a lot of praise music, and we praise the Lord. And it's a great, great time of worship. So join us here. Join us here today, this week. Bye-bye.